Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Listener beware, you're in for a scare.
Welcome back to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as children and we read them as adults and ruin them. On this episode of Below Grade Level, we are finishing up Goosebumps number 1, Welcome to Dead House. You have heard chapters 1 through 6 in the first episode and chapters 7 through 11 in the second episode. On this episode, we are reading chapters 12 to the end. I don't remember what the last chapter number was. Doesn't matter because it's just the end of the book. Anyway, the guests on this episode are Chris Zaleski and Bekah Eaton. And I do remember this episode actually very fondly because we took a friend vacation to Deep Creek Lake in Maryland and rented a big house for the weekend. And we brought our podcasting equipment because we thought it'd be fun to basically get drunk in the woods and podcast. And we did, and it was really fun. And this first episode that we recorded way back in the day, we got there, we immediately got pretty drunk and recorded for so long and read so much Goosebumps at the end of that episode that I ended up having to split that episode into 2 entirely separate episodes because otherwise it would have been I think it was 3 hours long or something like that. So I remember this being the second episode that I split and the first time that we really spent a long time reading one of these books. And that sort of turned into a tradition with every one of these books that we read where we would read a little bit at a time, and then we would just kind of get sick of the book and dedicate an entire episode to finishing it. But it'll be fun now doing this as its own show where all we're doing is reading it. So it'll be a lot more kind of balanced, I think. And I think we'll have fun and the guests will have fun. And I think probably you listening might have a little fun. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue. You might hate this. If you're listening to it, you might hate it. Anyway, this is the end of Welcome to Dead House. Next time, we're going to be reading Goosebumps number 2, Stay Out of the Basement, which was a good one. So come back for episode 4 of Below Grade Level and enjoy the rest of this episode. Thank you.
Chapter 12 of Goosebumps Welcome to Dead House. It will just kill you. Josh was so startled. The flashlight tumbled from his hand and clattered onto the street. The light flickered but didn't go out. By the time Josh had managed to pick it up, our pursuer had caught up to us. I spun around to face him, my heart pounding in my chest. "Ray, what are you doing here?" Josh aimed the light at Ray's face, but Ray shot his arms up to shield his face and ducked back into the darkness.
Ugh.
"What are you two doing here?" he cried, sounding almost as startled as I did. I knew it was going to end up being nothing, because it's what this whole book is.
Except he's totally a ghost.
Yeah. You scared us, Josh said angrily. Yeah, that was him angrily. Aiming the flashlight back down at our feet. "Sorry," Ray said. "I would have called out, but I wasn't sure it was you." And just changing
Is he
voices.
Sylvester Stallone now?
Yes. I would have called out, but I wasn't sure it was
He's Jersey
you.
Mike.
Oh, Jersey Mike.
Jersey Mike, worst character ever. I don't know why you like him. Josh has this
Seriously?
crazy idea
I
about...
love Jersey Mike.
Oh, it's so bad. Mark's the
Jersey
worst. Anyway.
Just wait till it pops up at season 2. You're going to love or hate him.
Josh has this crazy idea about where Petey might be, I told him, still struggling to catch my breath. That's why we're out here. "What about you?" Josh asked Ray.
Well, sometimes I have trouble sleeping.
Ray said softly. Don't your parents mind you being out so late? I asked. In the glow from the flashlight, I could see a wicked smile cross his face.
They don't know.
Are we going to the cemetery or not? Josh asked impatiently. Without waiting for an answer, he started jogging up the road, the light bobbing on the pavement in front of him. I turned and followed, wanting to stay close to the light.
Where are you going?
Ray called, hurrying to catch up. The cemetery, I called back.
No.
Ray said, You're not. His voice was so low, so threatening that I stopped. What?
You're not going there.
Ray repeated. I couldn't see his face, it was hidden in darkness, but his words sounded menacing. Hurry! Josh called back to us. He hadn't slowed down. He didn't seem to notice the threat in Ray's words. Okay, I guess I should turn this down a little bit. A lot of screaming.
You're going to ruin the ambience.
It is kind of overpowering.
Stop, Josh.
Ray called. It sounded more like an order than a request.
You can't go there.
Why not? I demanded, suddenly afraid and bitchy. Was Ray threatening Josh and me? Did he know something we didn't? Or was I making a big deal out of nothing once again, like I always do?
So I realize listening to these podcasts that when I do voices, it's not funny, it's embarrassing.
No,
so
it's funny.
I'm
No,
going to
it's
not do
funny.
it.
It's
No,
funny.
it's embarrassing.
Well, you hate
It'll
it.
be embarrassing if we don't do voices and we do.
Oh, God damn it.
It's funny. I'm a podcast expert.
I stared into the darkness, trying to see his face. You'd be nuts to go there at night, he declared. I began to think I had misjudged him. He was afraid to go there. That's why he was trying to stop us. Are you coming or not? Josh demanded. See? Embarrassing.
No,
not
it's
funny.
funny.
Not funny.
Ah.
Blah, blah, getting farther and farther ahead of us. I don't think we should, Ray warned. Yes, he's afraid, I decided. I only imagined that he was threatening us.
Oh
And
my
now,
God.
suddenly attracted to him. Now that he shows
I am not
vulnerability.
naive at all.
He's just a bad boy that needs reforming.
You don't have to, but we do, Josh insisted, picking up his speed. No, really, Ray said. This is a bad idea.
Oh my God.
But
just
now
get
he and I
to
were
it.
running side by side to catch up with Josh. Petey's there, Josh said. I know he is. I just don't know why they haven't given this dog up for lost by
Seriously,
now. This
at
dog is a pain in the ass.
At this
It'd
point,
probably be a family
I
that would
hate
take a
this
lot
dog.
better care of him. A family that likes their kids.
yeah, I feel like ghosts would take better care of this dog than these people.
Yeah. We passed the dark, silent school. It seemed much bigger at night. Josh's light flashed through the low tree branches as we turned the corner onto Cemetery Drive.
Spooky.
Wait, please, Ray pleaded. But Josh didn't slow down.
I don't want you to see
Neither
it.
did I. I was eager to get there and get it over with. I wiped my forehead with my sleeve.
I'm ready to get this book over with.
The air was hot and still. I wish I hadn't worn long sleeves. I felt my hair. It was dripping wet.
Among other things.
Oh.
The clouds
sorry.
still... Oh, God. The clouds still covered the moon as we reached the cemetery. All right, dripping wet. Go on.
Okay, dripping wet.
We stepped through the gate in the low wall. In the darkness, I could see the crooked rows of gravestones. Josh's light traveled from stone to stone, jumping up and down as he walked. Petey! He called, suddenly interrupting the silence. He's disturbing the sleep of the dead, I thought,
God, I hate
feeling a
Petey.
sudden chill of fear. Don't be silly, Amanda. Petey! I called too, forcing away my morbid thoughts.
Dead people don't sleep. They're
This-
dead.
This is a very bad idea.
Ray said, standing very close to me, hitting puberty at the same time. Petey! Petey! Josh called. I know it's a bad idea, I admitted to Ray, but I didn't want Josh to come here by himself.
But we shouldn't be here.
Ray insisted. Now, is he saying we shouldn't be here because he knows he's dead, but he's not dead?
I feel like
Maybe
he's,
it's like
I think,
magical, like dead person powers when he gets there. Like he'll turn into a crazy
Yeah.
zombie
I think
ghost.
I think he's trying to like protect them from the other ghost kids. I think he's a good ghost kid.
He's a good
I
ghost.
think he's a
Cool.
good ghost kid, and he doesn't want them
With a
to
heart
like,
of gold.
Yeah, like I don't think he wants them to get turned
Alright.
into other ghosts or yeah.
I was beginning to
Murdered.
wish
Yeah.
he'd go away. No one had forced him to come.
Jesus.
Why was he giving us such a hard time?
God, what a bitch.
Hey,
Ray,
look at
leave us
this!
alone.
Josh called from several yards up ahead, my sneakers crunching over the soft ground. I hurried between the rows of graves. I hadn't realized that we had already walked the entire length of the graveyard. How small is this fucking graveyard? Look! Josh said again, his flashlight playing over a strange structure built at the edge of the cemetery.
It took me a little while to figure out what it was in the small circle of light. It was so
The
unexpected.
circle
Well,
of
of light.
kids.
It was some kind of theater. An amphitheater, I guess you'd call it.
A dance macabre.
Circular rows of bench seats dug into the ground, ascending like stairs to a low stage-like platform at the
R.L.
bottom.
Stein likes his circle metaphors.
He does.
Yeah, and windows.
What on earth? I exclaimed. I started forward to get a closer look.
Amanda, wait, let's go home.
Ray called. He grabbed at my arm when I hurried away, and he grabbed only air. Weird! Who would build an outdoor theater at the edge of a cemetery? I asked. I looked back to see if Josh and Ray were following me, and my sneaker
Maybe
caught
it's
against
Shakespeare
something.
in the park.
I stumbled to the ground, hitting my knee hard. Ow! What was that? Josh shone the light and on it as I climbed slowly, painfully to my feet. I tripped over an enormous, upraised tree root. That's interesting. In the flickering light, I followed
two
the gnarled
adverbs
root
right after the other.
over to a wide old tree several yards away. The huge tree was bent over the strange below-ground theater, leaning at such a low angle that it looked likely to topple over at any second. Big clumps of roots were raised up from the ground. Overhead, the tree's branches, heavy with leaves, seemed to lean to the ground.
Lean to topple over sounds
So
like a
there's
Greek guy.
trees.
Okay, so
outside.
during my
And
page,
it's scary.
she tripped. Good job.
Wait, oh, did you flip it?
Yeah.
A lot of rising action.
Jesus Christ.
Timber! Josh yelled.
What a dick!
How weird! I exclaimed. Hey, Ray,
Why
what
it
is
weird?
this place?
It's a tree.
It's a meeting place, Ray said quietly,
A ghost.
standing close beside me, staring straight ahead at the leaning tree. They use it as sort of a town hall. They have town meetings here.
What?
In the cemetery? I cried,
The
finding it
town
hard to
of
believe. The town of ghosts. Let's go, Ray urged, looking very nervous. All three of us heard the footsteps. They were behind us somewhere in the rows of graves. We turned around. Josh's light swept over the ground. Petey! There he was, standing between the nearest row of low stone grave markers. I turned happily to Josh. I don't believe it, I cried. You were right. Petey, Petey! Josh and I both started running toward our dog. But Petey arched back on his hind legs as if he were getting ready to run away.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, $10 says this dog's gonna run away again, and they're gonna spend the
God,
rest of the book
I
looking
hope
for him.
this dog just attacks them.
I hope this dog dies. I hope he just dies.
He stared at us, his eyes red as jewels in the light of the flashlight.
What?
Petey, we found you, I cried.
Oh,
The dog lowered his head and started to trot away.
Yeah.
Petey, hey, come back, don't you recognize us? Blah, 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 come on, stupid dog. With a burst of speed, Josh caught up with him and grabbed him up off the ground. Hey, Petey, what's the matter, fella? Oh my god, I hate this dog.
Seriously.
I hate this book.
This book is really bad.
All right, where am I at?
The next page.
All right, cool.
Couple lines up.
Said fella. As I hurried over, Josh dropped Petey back to the ground and stepped back. Ugh, he stinks.
He smells like a ghost dog.
What? I cried. Petey, he stinks. He smells like a dead rat.
Ew.
Josh
A dead
held his
rat?
nose. Apparently, he's very familiar with these sort of things.
I know.
It's probably what they feed him. Petey started to walk slowly away. Josh, he isn't glad to see us, I wailed. He doesn't seem to recognize us. Look at him. It was true. Petey walked to the next row of gravestones, then turned and glared at us.
That
How
dog's
much you want to
dead.
bet it's their gravestones?
That dog's dead. That's what I said. That's what I said last time.
Okay.
I think.
I don't remember.
Maybe you said it. Someone said it. Someone said it.
I don't think I said
I suddenly felt sick.
I said it.
What had happened to Petey? Why was he acting so differently? Why wasn't he glad to see us?
He's dead.
I don't get it, Josh said, still making a face
Oh my god,
from
you
the
kids
odor
are
the dog gave off.
stupid.
Usually if he leaves the room for 30 seconds, he goes nuts when he come back.
Didn't these kids just try to murder them with baseball bats?
Yes.
All they care about is that their dog isn't being affectionate.
Apparently.
Okay.
Doesn't
better
this dog
go.
keep
Just trying to
running
get the story
away?
straight.
Why do they think this dog gives a shit about them?
We'd better go, Ray
Called. He was still at the edge of the cemetery near the leaning tree.
I'm just picturing Sylvester Stallone like 30 yards away going like,
We'd better go.
but like 30 yards away he'd be like, what?
Burma's a war zone.
All you can hear is like,
We better go.
what?
We gotta go.
Oh, I hate it.
Who?
Petey, what's wrong with you? I called to the dog. He didn't respond. Don't you remember your name? Petey.
Petey!
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 God, you couldn't have picked a more annoying name for a fucking dog.
Yuck! What a stink! Josh exclaimed. We've got to get him home and give him a
Smells
bath,
like
I said.
Bigfoot's dick.
My voice was shaking. I felt really sad and frightened. Maybe this isn't Petey, Josh said thoughtfully.
Smells like burnt hair and Indian food.
Petey smells like a diaper full of Indian food. The dog's eyes again glared red in the beam of light. It's him, all right, I said quietly. Look, he's dragging the leash. Go get him, Josh. Let's go home. You get him, Josh cried. He smells too bad. Just grab the leash. You don't have to pick him up, I said. No, you! Josh was being stubborn again. I could see that I had no choice but to kill him and Petey. Okay, I said, I'll get him, but I'll need a light. I grabbed the flashlight from Josh's hand and I started to run toward Petey. Sit, Petey, sit, I ordered. It was the only command Petey ever obeyed, because he's a shitty fucking dog. But he didn't obey this time. Instead, he turned and trotted away, holding his head down low. Petey, stop! Petey, come on! I yelled, exasperated. Don't make me chase you. Don't let him get away! Josh yelled, running up behind me. I moved the flashlight from side to side along the ground. Where is he? Also, didn't they just hear a bunch of footsteps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, didn't that turn out to be Ray?
No, they said they heard footsteps, right?
Raymond Stallone?
Okay. Petey! Petey! Josh called, sounding shrill and desperate. So I did a pretty good job there. I couldn't see him. Oh no, don't tell me we've lost him again. Fucking called it.
Oh my god.
Who cares about this dog?
That was like 5 pages of the dog being lost.
Or like the dog's dead. Someone's dead.
Ghost dog, zombie dog.
The dog is definitely dead. The dog is super dead.
I hope that dog's dead. We both started to call him. What's
Heartless!
What's wrong with that mutt? I cried. I moved the beam of light down one long row of gravestones, then, moving quickly, down the next. No sign of him. We both kept calling his name. And then the circle. The circle of light
No, now it's the circle of light.
came
Damn
to
it.
rest on the front of a granite tombstone. Oh my god.
Oh,
my god.
ooh,
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay.
Tombstone.
Oh my god, okay.
Okay.
Reading the name on the stone,
Oh, shit.
I stopped short and gasped.
It's getting real.
Josh, look! I grabbed Josh's sleeve. I held on tight. Ah, what's wrong? His face filled with confusion.
He didn't know how to read.
Look, the name of the gravestone. Wait, what's her name?
Amanda.
Amanda.
Oh,
It's Amanda and Josh.
okay. Well, I don't get this reference then,
Okay.
because I don't pay that much attention.
Okay.
It was Karen Somerset.
That's the girl.
That was the one bitch from earlier.
The bitch from earlier.
OMG!
The bitch
The
who said that
bitch
she
from
lived
earlier.
in her house.
The bitch from earlier.
The
The bitch from earlier.
earlier.
Josh read the name. He stared at me, still confused, because he was really stupid.
Oh my god.
That's my new friend Karen, the one I talk to at the playground every day, I said. Huh? It must be your grandmother or something, Josh said, and then added impatiently, come on, look for your Petey.
Oh my god.
No, look at the dates, I said to him. We both read the dates under Karen Somerset's name, 1960 to 1972.
That was in the show.
It can't be her mother or grandmother, I said, keeping the beam of light on the stone despite my trembling hand.
Ooh.
All right.
Up here.
My theory. I'm evolving my theory is
Okay.
that yeah, they are all dead, and this is just where dead people go. And so at the end of the story, the dad's gonna explain to them. It's like, yeah, like no, like we all died.
Oh shit.
and
wait,
we're
they're
here
all
now.
dead?
Oh, like
Yeah.
they're all dead.
So everyone in the town's
This is
dead.
just like purgatory?
So it's
Yeah.
like Lost.
Everyone in the town's dead.
Kind
yeah.
of. Like the last season of Lost.
Yeah, but like, you know, we're not gonna spend the whole book saying like, no, they're not dead. They're never going to be dead. It's never going to be limbo. And then at the end, they're gonna say it's limbo.
It was only the last season, Chris. Let it
Still.
go. Let it go.
Okay. I never finished it actually. All right. Karen was 12 too. She told me, Amanda. Josh scowled and looked away. But I took a few steps and beamed the light onto the next gravestone. There was a name on it I'd never heard before. I moved on to the next stone. Another name I've never heard. Amanda, come on! Josh whined. The next gravestone had the name George Carpenter on it. 1975
George
to
Clooney.
1988.
George Clooney.
Josh, look! It's George from the playground, I
Clooney.
called. Amanda, we have to get Petey, he insisted. But I couldn't pull myself away from the gravestones. I went from one to the next.
When are they
moving
gonna
the
find Ray's?
flashlight over the engraved letters.
They're gonna find a raise.
I just glanced ahead. To my growing horror, I found Benjamin Franklin and then Bill Gregory. All the kids we had played softball with, they all had gravestones here. My heart thudding. I moved down the crooked row, my sneakers sinking into the soft grass. I felt numb with fear. I struggled to hold the light steady as I beamed it onto the last stone in the row. Ray Thurston. 1977
Oh my god!
to 1988. So he died when he was 11.
Wait, what year did this book come out?
I don't know.
95?
Huh? I could hear Josh calling me, but I couldn't make out what he was saying.
Shit. The rest of the world seemed to fall away. I read the deeply etched inscription again. Ray Thurston, 1977 to 1988. I stood there staring at the letters and numbers. I stared at them till they didn't make sense anymore, until they were just a gray blur. Suddenly, I realized that Ray had crept up behind the gravestone and was staring at me. Ray, I managed to say, moving the light over the name on the stone.
My panties dripping with stuff.
Ray, this one is you. His eyes flared, glowing like dying embers.
Yes, it's
Yes.
yes, it's me.
He said softly, moving toward me.
I'm so sorry, Amanda.
Okay. Whoa! Chapter 13. I'm gonna.
Honestly,
start this
we
off.
haven't been recording that long. I think we could totally just finish this book.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we have other books for the next episode.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, and I'm excited to find out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, because finally shit is happening.
Finally, it took 92
Yeah,
pages.
we're like in the last 16th of the book.
Okay. I took a step back, my sneakers sinking into the soft ground. The air was heavy and still. No one made a sound. Nothing moved. Dead. I'm surrounded by death, I thought.
The circle of death.
She's a teenager now.
The circle of death.
Then, frozen to the spot, unable to breathe, the darkness swirling around me, the gravestones spinning in their own black shadows, I thought, what is he going to do to me? I could only imagine. Ray! I managed to call out, my voice sounding faint and far away. Ray, are you really dead?
I'm sorry, you weren't supposed to find out yet.
He said, his voice floating low and heavy on the stifling night air. But how? I mean, I don't understand. I looked past him at the darting white light of the flashlight. Josh was several rows away, almost in the street, still searching for Petey, and not realizing that our fucking friend is dead. Jesus Christ.
Fucking ghosts, man.
God damn it. Get you every time.
Petey, I whispered, dread choking my throat,
Yeah,
my
Petey's
stomach
dead.
tightening in horror. Dogs always know, Ray said in a low, flat tone. Dogs always recognize the living dead. That's why they have to go first. They always know.
Oh, Petey's dead!
You mean Petey's dead? I choked out the words. Ray nodded. They kill the dogs first.
Ooh,
Ooh,
shit.
That's the first thing that actually happened in this book.
Finally.
Oh my god. No, I'm serious. Like 92 pages
90,
in.
yeah,
And finally.
93rd page, something finally died.
Finally a thing has happened.
All right.
No! I screamed and took another step
Great.
back, nearly losing my balance as I bumped into a low marble gravestone.
She's gonna fall
I
into
jumped
the grave.
away from it.
It's gonna fall into her grave.
Fuck yeah.
You weren't supposed to see this, Ray said, his narrow face expressionless except for his dark eyes, which revealed sadness. Wait, I'm sorry. Which revealed real sadness.
Oh, not fake sadness.
He was real sad. Real sad.
Me and Ray are in a fight.
Oh, wait, he was real sad, and
I was
I
totally
know
gonna
I
kiss
can
him
make him
tomorrow.
happy if
I don't
I
want
could
to kiss
just
him now
change him.
because he's gross.
You weren't supposed to know. Not for another few weeks, anyway. That would have softened the
Why
blow.
a few weeks? Yeah, seriously.
I'm the watcher. I
What?
was supposed to watch as the
what?
watcher.
Good job, Dick.
That was my job.
Jesus.
To make sure you didn't see until it was time. He took a step toward me, his eyes lighting up red, burning into mine. Were you watching me from the window? I cried.
Ooh,
Was that you
sexy.
in my room? Again, he nodded yes. I used to live in your house, he said, taking another step closer, forcing me back against the cold marble stone.
Oh, shit.
I'm the watcher.
It's getting sexy.
I'm the raper.
Ooh, this is a this is a short chapter. Finally, things are happening.
Yeah, I know.
God damn.
Yeah, we're totally finishing this book.
It took us so long to get to this point.
I forced myself to look away, to stop staring into his glowing eyes. I wanted to scream to Josh to run and get help, but he was too far away and I was frozen there. Frozen with fear. It's a good alliteration.
Yeah. Fear frozen.
Fear.
That's fear
We need
frozen.
fresh blood, Ray said.
Ooh.
What? I cried. What are you saying? The town. It can't survive without fresh blood. None of us can. You'll understand soon, Amanda.
Dog
You'll
blood.
understand why we have to invite you to the house. To the ... dead house.
Oh, that's the name of the book.
It will just kill you!
I'm just gonna read that again. The town. It can't survive without fresh blood. None of us can. You'll understand soon, Amanda. You'll understand why we had to invite you to the house. To the dead house.
Bum, bum,
Bum, bum, bum, bum.
In the darting, zigzagging beam of light, I could see Josh moving closer, heading our way. Run, Josh, I thought. Run away, fast.
Why
Get
would she
someone.
say it?
Get anyone. I could think the words. Why couldn't I scream them? Ray's eyes glowed brighter. He was standing right in front of me now, his features set, hard and cold, my panties moist. Ray? Even through my jeans. The marble gravestone felt cold against the back of my legs. I messed up, he whispered. I was the watcher, but I messed up. Ray, what are you going to do?
Ray.
His red eyes flickered. I'm really sorry. He started
bad
to
at watching.
he started to raise himself off the ground to
What?
float over me.
Whoa.
What?
I could feel myself start to choke. I couldn't breathe. I
Choke.
couldn't move. I opened my mouth to call out to Josh, but no sound came out.
Josh, where was he? I looked down the rows of gravestones, but I couldn't see his light. Ray floated up a little higher. He hovered over me, choking me somehow with the force, blinding me, suffocating me.
The fucking Sith! God damn it!
I'm dead, I thought.
There's always two
Dead.
of them.
Now I'm dead too. Chapter 14. And then suddenly, light broke through the darkness. What a metaphor.
And Gandalf showed up.
The light showed in Ray's face, the bright white halogen light. What's going on? Josh asked in a high-pitched, nervous voice. I feel like that's the only thing he ever says.
Yeah.
Well, he does seem to be going through puberty.
Amanda, what's happening to me?
Inopportune moment.
And my feelings. Ray cried out and dropped back to the ground. Turn that off! Turn it off! He screeched, his voice a shrill whisper, like wind through a broken
shrill
window
whisper?
pane. But Josh held the bright beam of light on Ray. What's going on? What are you doing?
Are you making out? What is making out?
I could breathe again, and I stared into the light. I struggled to stop my heart from pounding so hard. Ray moved his arms to shield himself from the light, but I could see what was happening to him. The light had already done its damage. Ray's skin seemed to be melting.
Oh, God.
His whole face sagged and then fell, dropping off of his skull.
Oh, no.
Why could-
Holy shit!
Wait, hold on. I wasn't
What?
paying attention. Where did the light come from?
Josh,
Josh with
it's
the
the flashlight.
Why couldn't he use the word
What?
sloughing?
Fluffing?
Sloughing.
Sloughing.
Kids don't know what that means.
I don't like that word.
It looks like it looks like it's pronounced sloughing.
If you're just joining us,
I know how to spell the
Josh's,
word sloughing.
uh,
correctly.
that was
Ray-
just for the listeners.
Ray's face fell off of his
Just-
skull, just like if he had looked into the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This got good. I stared into the circle of white light. Unable to look away, as Ray's skin folded and drooped and melted away.
Ugh, gross.
As the bone underneath was revealed, his eyeballs rolled out of their sockets and fell silently to the ground.
I feel like they would make some noise.
That
They
made like
would make
plop.
a little plop,
They would make
like
a
a
bit-
little
they-
wet, like
it would be
bleh,
like-
bleh.
Or like a pock noise, like
Yeah.
pock.
Depends on how hard the ground is.
Yeah, you're wrong, Amanda.
Did it rain recently?
You know
or-
those eyes made sounds.
Yeah. Is there a tree root there?
Josh, frozen in horror, somehow held the bright light steady,
Thank
and we
God.
both stared at the grinning skull, its dark crater staring back at us. "Oh!" I shrieked as Ray took a step toward me. But then I realized that Ray wasn't walking, he was falling. I jumped aside as he crumpled to the ground, and gasped as his skull hit the top of the marble gravestone
Their weakness is halogen light.
Oh my god.
and cracked open with a sickening splat.
Ugh. Awesome.
I feel like his face melting off makes his skull cracking not that big of a deal.
If his skull cracked with
Not
his
like
skin
a
on,
regular boy fell on a
it'd be gross.
gravestone.
I mean, it's essentially a skeleton.
It would make a much more disgusting noise if his skull cracked with his skin on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Come on, Josh shouted. Amanda, come on. He grabbed my hand and tried to pull me away.
I feel like the appropriate reaction would be like, what the fuck?
These kids don't know how to swear yet.
That's true.
But I couldn't
So
stop
they're not
staring.
real kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't stop staring down at Ray, now a pile of bones inside a puddle of crumpled clothes. Because I'm dark and creepy.
So he's essentially like the monsters from Little Monsters. You shine a flashlight on them and they evaporate in the clothes.
I don't know what that is.
I
You
guess.
don't know what Little Monsters is? With
Forgot
Fred Savage and Howie Mandel?
That
Nope.
movie used to scare the living shit
I've
out
never-
of me.
is
It's
that a
pretty, it's pretty
movie? I've
disturbing.
never heard
Yeah,
of that.
no,
it really,
it's
that
disturbing.
movie fucked me up when I was a kid.
We can talk about that on the next
Yeah,
one.
shut up,
Yeah.
everyone. Amanda, come on! Then, before I even realized it, I was running beside Josh as fast as I could down the long row of graves toward the street. The light flashed against the blur of gravestones as we ran, slipping on the soft, dew-covered grass, gasping in the still, hot air. We've got to tell Mom and Dad!
Their
Got
parents
to
are
get
dead.
away from here! I cried. I didn't realize that was Amanda, or I would have done it girly.
Oh, it's fine.
I apologize to all the listeners.
Me too.
Where? Okay. They won't believe it, Josh said as we reached the street. We kept running.
They
Our
will when they see that dead kid's bones.
Yeah. They will when we shine a light on everyone else who lives here and make them turn into skeletons.
All they
As
had
long
to
as
do
it's
was
halogen.
shine their flashlight.
Yeah, it was halogen? Are you kidding? That's not holy.
Yeah, I still think they're dead too. We kept running, our sneakers thudding hard against the pavement. I'm not sure I believe it myself. They've got to believe it. No, wrong voice. They've got to believe us, I told them. If they don't, we'll drag them out of the house. Because they're kids and they're like capable of that.
Yeah, their dad's gonna have none of this.
The white beam of light pointed the
Your
way.
dad's
as
just
we-
gonna hit him.
Yeah.
The white beam of light pointed the way as we ran through the dark, silent streets. There were no streetlights, no lights on in the windows of the houses we passed, no car headlights. Such a dark world we had entered.
How poetic.
And now it was time to get out. That sounds like the tagline on a movie poster.
Oh shit, we ran out of spooky sounds. Here,
Oh,
keep
no.
reading, I'll find more.
We ran the rest of the way home. I kept looking back to see if we were being followed, but I didn't see anyone. The neighborhood was still and empty. I had a sharp pain in my side as we reached home, but I forced myself to keep running. Up the gravel driveway with its thick blanket of dead leaves. Why can't they be alive leaves? And onto the front porch.
Well, live leaves don't lie on the ground, Chris.
They could. I pushed open the door and both Josh and I started to scream, "Mom, Dad, where are you?" Silence.
Wait, what is that?
I think it was just a guy
Silence.
saying something about sounds of Halloween.
We ran into the living room. The lights were all off.
Wait.
Nights of Halloween, discussing nostalgic
Oh,
things.
shut up,
You
YouTube.
just found a random YouTube
Sorry,
Brief
video.
sorry.
sidebar.
Yeah.
Sean used to have this amazing spooky sound CD, and I loved it so much. It was like, tracks of like 10 seconds of a spooky sound, but it had this weird ass narrator before each sound. So the track would be fighting cats, and it would be a guy saying, "Fighting cats!" And then it would be a cat sound, and it would be Lilliputians, and it was just this crazy ass guy.
Lilliputians?
Lilliputians.
Like tiny people?
Yeah, like little leprechauns.
Oh man, that's
It
fucking
was
frightening.
just the most amazingly dedicated narrator, putting his whole acting
Just giving-
talent into
just
like
giving
giving
his
these
all.
introductions. Into
I was
spooky
okay with
sounds.
reading this and like having the listener be scared, but you brought in Lilliputians into it now,
Lilliputians.
and now I'm frightened because little people frighten me.
Oh,
Sorry.
they do. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's really bad.
Didn't mean to disturb you.
Okay, we ran to the living room. The lights were all off. Mom, Dad, are you here? Please be here, I thought, my heart racing, the pain in my side still sharp. Please be here. We searched the house. They weren't home. The potluck party!
Oh, the swingers party.
Josh suddenly remembered. Can they still be at the party?
We were standing in the living room, both of us breathing hard. The pain in my sides had let up just a bit, and I turned on all the lights, but the room still felt gloomy and menacing. I glanced at the clock on the mantel, nearly 2 a.m. They should be home by now, I said, my voice shaky and weak. Where did they go? Did they leave a number? Josh is already on the way to the kitchen. I followed him, turning on the lights as we went. We went right to the memo pad on the counter where Mom and Dad always leave us notes. Nothing. The pad was blank. We've got to find them, Josh cried. He sounded very frightened. His wide eyes reflected his fear. We have to get away from here. What if something has happened to them? That's what I started to say, but I caught myself just in time. I didn't want to scare Josh any more than he already was because he just saw a boy melt. Besides, he probably thought of that too. Should we call the police? He asked as we walked back to the living room and peered out the front window into the darkness. I don't know, I said, pressing my hot, sweaty forehead against the cool, sexy glass. I just don't know what to do. I want them to be home. I want them to be here so we can all leave.
Chapter 15?
Yep.
Or no?
No, the last page.
What's your hurry? A girl's voice said from behind me.
It's Karen Somerset!
Yeah, but it's that bitch
Josh and
Karen.
I both cried out and spun around. That bitch Karen Somerset was standing in the center of the room, her arms crossed over her chest. But you're dead, I blurted out. She smiled, a sad smile, a bitter smile.
Oh, a sexy smile.
Then two more kids from the circle of kids
Ooh,
stepped in from the hallway.
they're rejoining the circle.
One of them clicked off the lights. Too bright in here, he said. They moved next to Karen. Another kid, Benjamin Franklin, another dead kid, appeared by the fireplace. And I saw the girl with short black hair, the one I had seen on the stairs, move beside me by the curtains. They were all smiling, their eyes glowing dully in the dim light, all moving in on Josh and me. What do you want? I screamed in a voice I didn't even recognize. What are you gonna do? We used to live in your house, that bitch Karen said softly. Huh? I cried. We used to live in your house, George Clooney said. And now, guess what?
He's so handsome.
Benjamin Franklin added.
So
Now we're dead in your house!
Oh.
The others started to laugh.
Wait. They said,
Huh?
now we're dead in your house?
Now we're dead in your house in italics.
Why is that a thing?
lean back.
Me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
you're fine.
Well, no, it's just he upped the recording volume, so just.
Now we're dead in your house.
Now we're back to normal Bekah voice.
Sorry, I'm drunk, everyone. I know it's shocking.
Guys, we have been drinking for a while.
Guys, I'm 5 beers in. The others started to laugh, crackling dry laughs, as they all closed in on Josh and me. Josh and I. Come on, Amanda.
What a dumb bitch.
It's R.L. Stine. What do you want from us?
Sorry.
What do you want from him? You know he's terrible.
Sorry, I'm drunk and bad at reading.
Chapter 15.
I'm not sorry we're drunk.
They're going to kill us, Josh cried. I watched them move forward in silence. Josh and I had backed up to the window. I looked around the dark room for an escape route, but there was nowhere to run. Karen, you seem so nice, I said. The words just tumbled out. I hadn't thought before I said them. Her eyes glowed a little brighter. I was nice, she said in a glum monotone. In a glum monotone, so like my normal tone of voice. Until I moved here.
Then I became a
dead
bitch.
house.
We were all nice, George Clooney said in the same low monotone, but now we're dead.
Oh.
Let us go, Josh cried, raising his hands in front of him as if to shield himself. Please, let us go. They laughed again, the dry, hoarse laughter. Dead
Horse laughter?
Dead
Like-
laughter.
That's definitely what he meant.
Don't
Horse
be scared,
laughter.
Amanda. Soon you'll be with us. That's why they invited you to this house.
They don't have an uncle?
It's actually getting good.
Huh? I don't understand, I cried, my voice shaking. This is Dead House.
You don't do
This
good
is
Amanda
where
voice.
everyone lives when they first arrive in Dark Falls, when they're still alive. So I was...
Well, why is it called Dead House?
Because it kills them. this seemed
Welcome.
This seemed to strike the others as funny. They all snickered and laughed like horses. But our great uncle, Josh started. Karen shook her head, her eyes glowing with amusement. No, sorry, Josh. No great uncle. It was just a trick to bring you here. Once every year, someone new has to move here. Other years, it was us. We lived in this house until we died. This year, it's your turn.
They're gonna run out of houses at some point.
We need new blood. Benjamin Franklin said, his eyes glowing red in the dim light. Once a year, you see, we need new blood. Moving forward in silence, they hovered over Josh and me. I took a deep breath, a last breath perhaps, and shut my eyes. And then I heard a knock on the door. A loud knock, a loud
Is
knock.
it that old guy?
Repeated
Or that
several
guy you're
times.
pretending
Oh,
Oh my
man,
God.
no, if the realtor ends up being the hero, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Me too. I opened my eyes. The ghostly kids all vanished. The air smelled sour, but it was probably me. Josh and I stared at each other, dazed, as the loud knocking started again. It's Mom and Dad! Josh cried.
Why would they knock on their own
We
door?
both ran to the door. Josh stumbled over the coffee table in the dark, so I got the door first. What a fucking klutz.
Am I okay back here? Where am
Yeah,
I?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
He turned it up because we were all leaning back. So
I turned it up because Mark's not here.
yeah.
Mom, Dad! I cried, pulling open the door. Where have you been? I reached out my arms to hug them both, and stopped with my arms in the air. My mouth dropped open as I uttered a silent cry. Mr. Dawes! Josh
Yay.
exclaimed, coming up beside me. We thought... Oh, Mr. Dawes, I'm glad to see you! I cried happily, pushing open the screen door for him. What's Mr. Dawes' voice, old man? I can't do that.
Like creepy old
Like-
pedophile.
I can't really do that. Kids, are you okay? He asked,
Kid, are you okay?
eyeing us
Are you
both.
okay?
His handsome face tight with worry. Oh, thank God, he cried. I got here in
Oh,
time.
thank God.
All of my handsomeness. Mr. Dawes, I started, feeling so relieved. I had tears in my eyes.
Shit.
He grabbed my arm. There's no time to talk, he said, looking behind him to the street. I could see his car in the driveway. The engine was running. Only the parking lights were on.
Ghosts don't drive cars. Man.
I've got to get you kids out of here while there's still time. Josh and I started to follow him, then hesitated.
Why
What
did
if
you move
Mr.
him into
Dawes
the
was one
place?
of them?
I thought Mr.
Why
Dawes was
didn't
like
you
the
move him
head
in?
ghost.
Well, hurry, Mr. Dawes urged, holding open the screen door, gazing nervously. Sorry, everyone.
No,
I'm drunk.
no. Do you hear this?
No,
It's
I
like
can
the
hear
sound
myself
effects. It's like the
reading
sound effects like
sadly.
nuts.
Cats fighting.
Fighting cats! Blah, blah. I think we're in terrible danger.
That sounded so emphatic.
I think we're in terrible danger. But I started staring into his frightened eyes, trying to decide if we could trust him. I was at the swingers party with your parents, Mr. Dawes said. All of a sudden, they formed a circle.
Oh.
The
no.
circle of swingers.
Fucking circles, man. All of a sudden,
He likes
they
his
formed a
imagery.
circle.
Yeah, he does.
All right,
Circle of windows.
everyone around your parents and me, they started to close in on us.
You're not doing the voice.
Oh, sorry.
Everyone around your parents and me, they started to close in on us.
Just like when the kids started to close in on Josh and me, I thought.
We broke through them and ran.
Mr. Dawes said, glancing to the driveway behind him.
Somehow the three of us got away. Hurry! We've all got to get away from here now.
Josh, let's go, I urged. Then I turned to Mr. Dawes. Where are Mom and Dad?
Come on, I'll show you. They're safe for now, but I don't know for how long.
We followed him out of the house
What
and
a
down the
handsome old
driveway
man.
Yeah.
to his car.
So handsome.
The clouds had parted. A sliver of moon showed low in a pale early morning sky. So like good writing out of nowhere.
I know, he's got a lot of imagery in these last few chapters.
There's something wrong with this whole town.
Mr. Dawes said.
You're the realtor. How do you not know this?
Holding the front passenger door open for me as Josh climbed into the back. I slumped gratefully into the seat and he slammed the door shut. I know, I said as he slid behind the wheel. Josh and I,
We've got to get as far away as we can before they catch up with us.
Mr. Dawes said, backing down the drive quickly, the tires sliding and squealing as he pulled onto the street. Yes, I agreed. Thank goodness you came.
Hey.
Nah.
My house, it's filled with kids, dead kids, and so you've seen them, Mr. Dawes said softly, his eyes wide with fear. He pushed down harder on the gas pedal. As I looked out into the purple darkness, a low orange sun began to show over the green treetops. Where are our parents? I asked anxiously. There's a kind of outdoor theater next to the cemetery, Mr. Dawes said, staring straight ahead through the windshield, his eyes narrow, his expression tense. It's built right into the ground and it's hidden by a big tree. I left them there. I told them not to move. I think they'll be safe.
No, he's totally in on it.
I don't think anyone will look to there.
The book's gonna end with other people moving into that house.
We've seen it, Josh said. A bright light suddenly
spoilers,
flashed on in the
Chris.
back seat. What's that? Mr.
just
Dawes
guessing.
asked, looking into the rearview mirror. My flashlight, Josh answered, clicking it off. I brought it just
kills
in
them.
case,
Only ghost repellent.
but the sun will be up soon. I probably won't need it. Mr. Dawes hit the brake and pulled the car to the side of the road. We were at the edge of the cemetery. I climbed quickly out of the car, eager to see my parents. The sky was still dark, streaked with violet now. The sun was a dark orange balloon just barely poking over the trees.
Balloon?
Across the street, beyond the jagged rows of gravestones, I could see the dark outline of the leaning tree that hid the mysterious amphitheater.
Theater.
Wait, where? Oh. Hurry, Mr. Dawes urged, closing his car door quietly. I'm sure your parents are desperate to see you, because they love you so much. We headed across the street, half walking, half jogging, Josh swinging the flashlight in one hand. Suddenly, at the edge of the cemetery grass, Josh stopped. Petey! He cried. I followed his gaze and saw our white terrier walking slowly along the slope of gravestones. Okay, so I wasn't listening earlier. I didn't know it was a little white terrier. I thought it was a big, interesting
I don't
dog.
remember them ever mentioning it. They probably
Just
did.
like a
but
little white terrier. All
We
right.
drink when we record this.
Yeah. Petey, Josh yelled again and began running to the dog. My heart sank. I hadn't had a chance to tell Josh what Ray revealed to me about Petey.
Ray
No,
Romano.
Josh, I cried.
Oh, why didn't we ever do a Ray Romano voice? Damn it.
Aw, too late.
Yeah, no, we're all dead.
Mr. Dawes looked very alarmed. We don't have time. We have to hurry, he said to me. Then he began shouting for Josh to come back. I'll go get him, I said, and took off, running as fast as I could along the rows of graves, calling to my brother. Josh, wait up. Don't go after him. Josh, Petey is dead. Josh had been gaining on the dog, which was ambling along, sniffing the ground, not looking up, not paying any attention to Josh. Then suddenly, Josh tripped over a low grave marker. He cried out as he fell, and the flashlight flew out of his hand and clattered against a gravestone. Switching headphones. The page on the right.
Okay. I quickly caught up with him. Josh, are you okay? He was lying on his stomach, staring straight ahead. Josh, answer me. Are you okay?
You sound Indian or something.
Josh, answer me. Are you okay?
This is gonna be unlistenable.
No, nothing could be more
See,
listenable than
now I have
having
to-
Mark read this book.
Now I have to read it as an Indian. Like, I grabbed him by the shoulders and tried to pull him up, but he kept staring straight ahead, his
that
mouth
Apu?
open, his eyes wide. I'm not going to do that
Yeah,
the whole
please
time.
don't.
Josh, look, he said finally. I breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that Josh wasn't knocked out or something. Look, he repeated, pointing to the gravestone he had tripped over. I turned and squinted at the grave. I read the inscription, silently mouthing the words as I read. Compton Dawes. Rest in peace. 1950 to 1980. See, I knew he was old as shit.
Who, Mr. Dawes?
Yeah. 1950 to 1980? How old is that?
Oh, it's really old.
Like 40 at least?
Wait, 50 to 80?
Yeah, 40. No,
That's 30.
Okay, never mind. He's not that old.
No,
Anyway.
he's young. He's young.
Yeah, we're totally wrong. Anyway, my head began to spin. I felt dizzy. I steadied myself, holding on to Josh. Compton Dawes. It wasn't his father or his grandfather. He had told us he was the only Compton in his family. So Mr. Dawes was dead too.
Duh.
Dead.
Duh.
Dead.
Jesus.
Dead.
How? Duh.
Dead as everyone else.
My God.
That's as it's written. It's
Seriously?
dead as everyone else. He was one of them. One of the dead ones. Josh and I stared at each other in the purple darkness, surrounded by the dead. Now what? I asked myself. Now what?
Was the end of chapter 15?
That was
I'm
the
so
end of
tired
chapter
of this
15.
book.
Oh my god, we're really...
We're so close.
Super
We're
close.
just finishing it.
Thank
super
God.
close.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're just
next
finishing it.
podcast, romance novel, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Gotta change it up.
Chapter 16. Get up, Josh, I said, my voice a choked whisper. We've got to get away from here. But we were too late. A hand grabbed me firmly by the shoulder. I spun around to see Mr. Dawes, his eyes narrowing as he read the inscription on his own gravestone.
Oh, no.
Mr. Dawes, you too? I cried, so disappointed, so confused, so aroused. Me too, he said, almost sadly. All of us. His eyes burned into mine. This was a normal town once, and we were normal people. Most of us worked in a plastics factory on the outskirts of town.
How interesting.
Then there was an accident. A plastic accident. A plaxident. Something escaped from the factory. A yellow gas. It floated over the town. So fast we didn't see it. Didn't realize. And then it was too late. And Dark Falls wasn't a normal town anymore. We were all dead, Amanda. Dead and buried. We couldn't rest. We couldn't sleep. Dark Falls was a town of living dead.
Can I follow?
I like that even though me and John switched seats, the rotation is still the same.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do to us? I managed to ask. My knees were trembling so hard I could barely stand. A dead man was squeezing my shoulder. A dead man was staring hard into my eyes. Standing this close, I could smell his sour breath.
Ugh.
I turned my head, but the smell already choked my nostrils.
Huh.
Where are Mom and Dad? Josh asked, climbing to his feet and standing rigidly across from us, glaring accusingly at Mr. Dawes. Safe and sound, Mr. Dawes said with a faint smile. Come with me. It's time for you to join them.
Oh, their parents are dead.
I tried to pull away from him, but his hand was locked on my shoulder. Let go! I shouted. His smile grew wider. Amanda, it doesn't hurt to die, he said softly, almost soothingly. Come with me. No, Josh shouted. And with sudden quickness, what, me or the cats? The cats? Okay. Why is it always the cats when I read?
Every time you read,
It's always cats.
there's just wee.
There are a lot of cats in this graveyard. It is just lousy with cats.
There are so many dead cats.
So many dead cats.
Well, you know, the animals know it first,
Yeah.
so they gotta go.
Well,
Okay.
they're gonna die right away.
And with sudden quickness, he
Poor
dived
dog.
to the ground and picked up his flashlight. Yes, I cried. Shine it on him, Josh.
Yeah.
The light could save us. The light could defeat Mr. Dawes, as it
circle
had
of
Ray. The circle of light.
That's really what happens.
The light
Oh,
could destroy him. Quick, shine it on him,
Are they
I
halogen?
pleaded. Josh fumbled with the flashlight, then pointed it towards Mr. Dawes' startled face and clicked it on. Nothing. No light.
Oh shit.
It's broken, Josh said. I guess when it hit the gravestone.
Yeah,
My
we
heart
took better
pounding,
care of this
I looked back
flashlight.
at Mr. Dawes. The smile on his face was a smile of victory. Chapter 17.
Oh
All right.
shit.
Oh my god, is this the end?
We're almost to the end.
I think
I'm tired of this.
Oh, I am too. There's 18 chapters, so we've got 2
oh
left.
my god.
There are 2 more left, yes. Okay, and they're very short. Because the rest of the book is like a preview of
It's
the
like
next
a preview
one.
of the next
okay.
one. Yeah.
Nice try, Mr. Dawes said to Josh. The smile faded quickly from his face. Close up, he didn't look so young and handsome. His skin, I could see, was dry and peeling and hung loosely beneath his eyes.
Ew.
Let's go,
That's
kids,
gross.
he said, giving me a shove. He glanced up at the brightening sky. The sun was raising itself over the treetops. Josh hesitated. I said, let's go, Mr. Dawes snapped impatiently. He loosened his grip on my shoulder and took a menacing step towards Josh. Josh glanced down at the worthless flashlight. Then he pulled his arm back and heaved the flashlight at Mr. Dawes' head.
Oh damn.
The flashlight hit its target with a sickening crack. It hit Mr. Dawes in the center of his forehead, splitting a large hole in the skin.
Ew.
Mr. Dawes uttered a low cry. His eyes widened in surprise. Dazed. He reached up a hand to the hole where a few inches of gray skull poked through.
Oh, damn. Run, Josh, I cried. But there was no need to tell him that. He was already zigzagging through the rows of graves, his head ducked low. I followed him, running as fast as I could. Glancing back, I saw Mr. Dawes stagger after us, still holding his ripped forehead. He took several steps, then abruptly stopped, staring at the sky. It's too bright for him, I realized. He has to stay in the shade. That's why it's called Dark Falls.
What about all the other times that happened during the day? Like when they
no,
met
it was
the
all
circle
it was
of kids
dark
and-
all the time. Remember, it was all dark.
Yeah, it was cloudy.
Josh had ducked down behind a tall marble
Shit,
monument.
nice weather.
Old and Fuck, it's gorgeous out. Josh had ducked down behind a tall marble monument, old and slightly tilted, cracked down to the middle. I slid down beside him, gasping for breath. Leaning on the cool marble, we both peered around the sides of the monument. Mr. Dawes, a scowl on his face, was heading back toward the amphitheater, keeping in the shadows of the trees. He's not chasing us, Josh whispered, his chest heaving as he struggled to catch his breath and stifle his fear. He's going back. The sun's too bright for him, I said, holding on to the side of the monument. He must be going to get Mom and Dad. That stupid flashlight, Josh cried. Never mind that, I said, watching Mr. Dawes until he disappeared behind the big leaning tree. What are we going to do now? I don't know. Bekah.
Oh my god, I'm so tired of this book.
Bekah's given up and is just
We
Where are we?
are right at the end.
Are we this page?
yeah.
Shush, look! Josh poked me hard in the shoulder and pointed. Who's that? Why are you're pointing at me and whispering? They're pointing and whispering. What is
I'm
that?
pointing at the book and whispering.
What are
You
you-
didn't have to stop.
What?
If you were a professional, you would have kept reading.
I'm
Neither of
not
us
a
are professionals.
And I said kept reading instead of reading.
All right,
What are you trying to say to
I'll
me?
keep
On the
reading.
back of the book, it says, "Look alive."
Interesting point, Chris. I followed his stare and saw several.
What's supposed to be for the podcast? Just supposed to be me and John to enjoy while you were reading. But no, you had to go and just
Moment
shit all over
destroyed.
my day.
I followed his stare and saw several dark figures hurrying through the rows of tombstones. They seemed to have appeared from out of nowhere. Shut up, Chris. Did they rise out of the graves?
What?
What? Walking quickly, seeming to float over the green, sloping ground. Oh, sorry, I'm dumb. The green sloping ground, they headed into the shadows. All were walking in silence, their eyes straight ahead.
Are they walking or floating? Get your shit together, Amanda.
They're like walk floating.
Okay.
Like float walking.
Float walking?
Yeah.
They're walking on air?
You know.
They're
yeah.
flocking.
Walking on sunshine.
Oh!
They're walking on sunshine.
Oh.
They didn't stop to greet one another.
Wonder how it
Weird.
feels.
They didn't say hi or anything. They strode purposefully toward the hidden amphitheater, as if they were
Amphitheater.
being drawn there, as if they were puppets being pulled by hidden strings.
Puppet
He
theater.
really likes his run-on sentences.
Yeah.
Whoa, look at them all, Josh whispered, ducking his head back behind the marble monument. The dark moving forms made all the shadows ripple. He also likes his commas,
Yeah.
where they don't really belong.
Just
It looked as if the trees, the gravestones, the entire cemetery had come to life, had started toward the hidden seats of the amphitheater. There goes that bitch Karen, I whispered, pointing. And George Clooney, and the rest of them.
Benjamin Franklin.
The kids from our house were moving quickly in twos and threes, following the other shadows, as silent and businesslike as everyone else. Everyone was here except Ray, I thought. Because we killed Ray. Sorry, that was the next page, but I wanted to read it because it was awesome.
She said because we killed Ray?
Because we killed Ray.
All right.
That's awesome.
We killed someone who was already
What are
dead.
these alien sounds?
Don't know. Oh, by the way, you guys killed the only nice ghost.
Yeah.
You killed
They
the
murdered
one.
the nice
You
ghost.
murdered
Ray
the
Stallone.
one that wasn't actively trying to kill
All
you.
right. We killed someone who was already dead. Hold on, who's talking? Okay. Do you think Mom and Dad are really down in that weird theater? Josh asked, interrupting my morbid thoughts. Always having morbid thoughts, this bitch.
God,
I don't know.
such a
His eyes on the
teenager.
moving shadows. Come on, I said to him, taking Josh's hand and pulling him away from the monument. We've got to find out. We watched the last of the dark figures float past the enormous leaning tree. The shadows stopped moving. The cemetery was still and silent. A solitary crow floated above. Okay. I'm gonna try to read this seriously. All right. A solitary crow floated high.
You can't do it.
I can do it.
Can't do
I can do it. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Whew. Pull it together, Chris. A solitary crow floated high above. I was gonna keep going, but you broke.
I know, it's so funny.
Just don't listen, okay?
What?
Shut your ears.
Okay. A solitary
That was 100% Chris.
But it's also still not my fault. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. A solitary crow floated high above in the clear blue cloudless sky.
Caw.
Ahem.
Amanda.
I'm coming for you.
Nevermore.
Shit.
Crows and ravens, they're the same.
Yeah, sure.
Slowly, Josh and I edged our way towards the amphitheater, ducking behind gravestones, keeping low to the ground. It was a struggle to move. I felt as if I weighed 500 pounds because I was fat. The weight of my fear, I guess. I was desperate to see if Mom and Dad were there, but at the same time, I didn't want to see because I hated my parents. I didn't want to see them being
I
held
hope
prisoner
they're
by
dead.
Mr. Dawes and the others. I didn't want to see them killed. The thought made me stop. I reached out an arm and halted Josh. We were standing behind the leaning tree, hidden by its enormous clump of upraised roots.
The ones that I tripped on earlier because I'm an idiot.
Beyond the tree, down in the theater below, I could hear the low murmur of voices.
Are Mom and Dad there? Josh whispered. He started to poke his head around the side of the bent tree trunk, but I cautiously pulled him back. Be careful, I whispered. Don't let them see you. They're practically right beneath us. But I've got to know if Mom and Dad are really here, he whispered, his eyes frightened, pleading. Me too, I agreed. We both leaned over the massive trunk. The bark felt smooth under my hands as I gazed into the deep
Yeah, that's
shadows
what bark
cast by
feels
the
like.
tree.
Nice
Smooth bark. And then I saw them. Mom and Dad. They were tied up back to back, standing in the center of the floor at the bottom of the amphitheater, in front of everyone. They looked so uncomfortable, so terrified. Their swingers party had taken a drastic turn. Their
For the
arms
worse.
their arms were tied tightly at their sides. Dad's face was bright red. Mom's hair was all messed up, because they had been fucking, hanging wildly down over her forehead, her head bowed. Squinting into the darkness cast by the tree, I saw Mr. Dawes standing beside them, along with another older man. And I saw that the rows of long benches built into the ground were filled with people, not a single empty space. Everyone in town must be here, I realized.
All dead of them.
All dead of them.
I'm so tired of reading this book.
We're so
We're
close.
right at the end and we're finishing it.
Shit's going down.
Wait, where are we?
Yeah, we can't stop now that actually things are happening.
Yeah. No, I turned the
What
page
page?
at the top of the page.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone except Josh and me.
They're
They're going to kill Mom and Dad, Josh whispered. I don't care anymore.
She's
I'm
got her
giving
head
up.
in her hand.
All right.
Like she's literally holding her head up in her hand.
Grabbing my arm, squeezing it in fear. They're gonna make Mom and Dad just like them. Then they'll come after us, I said, thinking out loud, staring through the shadows at my poor parents. Both of them had their heads bowed now as they stood before the silent crowd. Both of them were awaiting their fates. What are we gonna do? Josh whispered. Huh? I was staring so hard at Mom and Dad, I guess momentarily blanked out. She's not paying attention anymore either. I know how you feel, Amanda. What are we going to do? Josh repeated urgently, still holding desperately to my arm. We can't just stand here and... I suddenly knew what we were going to do. It just came to me. I didn't even have to think hard. Maybe we can save them, I whispered, backing away from the tree. Maybe we can do something, for once.
Yeah, like get batteries from that damn flashlight.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a gun. God. Josh let go
Guns
of my
don't work on
arm.
dead people, dummy.
Oh, ooh. He stared at me eagerly.
Oof.
We're going to push this tree over, I whispered with so much confidence that I
Gonna push a
surprised
tree
myself.
over?
We're going to push this tree over so the
Yeah.
sunlight will fill the amphitheater.
Oh. How can you push a tree over?
Oh my god, this is the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Children can't push a tree over.
Yes, Josh cried immediately. Look at this tree. It's
No,
practically down
I cried
already. We can
immediately.
do it.
So mad if this is how this ends.
That's how it's going to end.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
Oh my god, I can't wait till it's over.
I knew we could do it. I don't know where my confidence came from, but I knew we could do it. Probably from my
Maybe
recent
she
burst
just
of
got
puberty.
boobs that day.
Yeah. And I knew we had to do it fast. It got sexual in my head
That's
for a
good.
second, and I laughed. Peering over the top of the trunk again, struggling. You can't spring that shit on me. Okay, I don't know how this is gonna work.
Power through it.
Okay, peering over the top of the trunk again, struggling to see through the shadows, I could see that everyone in the theater had stood up. They were all starting to move forward, down toward Mom and Dad. Come on, Josh, I whispered. We'll take a running jump and push the tree over. Come on. There's no way this could fail. Without another word, we took
So many
several
ways it could
steps
fail.
back. We just had to give the trunk a good hard push, and the tree would topple right over. The roots were already almost entirely up out of the ground after all. One hard push, that's all it would take, and the sunlight would pour into the theater. Beautiful golden sunlight, bright sunlight.
And
apparently
flashlight light
this is
or different
apparently
kinds
this
of
is
light.
like the most giant tree ever.
Do they know anything
Big
about
enough
like
to
the
block
color,
out the
like,
entire sun,
Like-
small enough that two
Hold on,
stupid
hold
kids
on.
can knock it
This
over.
next part's good. The dead people would all crumble, and Mom and Dad would be saved. All four of us would be saved. Come
Your
on,
stupid
Josh, I
dog's
whispered.
still gonna be dead.
Yeah.
Ready?
Thank God.
He nodded, his face solemn, his eyes frightened.
Okay, let's go.
That's that Josh? Did his balls drop?
Oh no, I thought that was him. It's the other
Let's
chick.
roll.
Okay, let's go, I cried. I thought it was him finally becoming like a man.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
We both ran forward, digging our sneakers into the ground, moving as fast as we could, our arms outstretched and ready.
Oh, shit. Okay. In a second, we hit the tree trunk and pushed with all of our strength, shoving it with our hands and then moving our shoulders into it, pushing. It didn't budge.
Shocking.
No shit.
That's the end of chapter 17.
End of chapter
Keep
17.
reading the first page of chapter 18.
Chapter-
Oh my god.
Chapter 18.
I'm so bored. I just want to get in the
It's
hot
the last
tub.
chapter.
The last chapter of
Still
Welcome to
go
Dead
grocery
House.
shopping.
I'm not going grocery shopping.
Push! I cried. Push it again! Josh let out an exasperated, defeated sigh. I can't, Amanda. I can't move it. 'Cause it's a tree. Josh! I glared at him. He backed up to try again. Below, I could hear startled voices, angry voices. Quick! I yelled, push!
You sound like Fred Schneider.
Quick! We hurtled into the tree with our shoulders, both of us grunting from the effort, our muscles straining, our faces bright red. Push! Keep pushing! The veins at my temples felt about to pop. Was the tree moving? No. Because it's a fucking tree! It gave a little, but it bounced right back. The voices from below were getting louder. We can't do it! I cried, so disappointed, so frustrated, so terrified. We can't move it! Defeated, I slumped over the tree trunk. Hang on.
Like,
2, 3. There are 3 pages left.
Oh my god.
This is your last page.
it's,
Your last page.
Where am I? Here?
She's so over
why
this.
does a
Yeah.
tree fucking matter? Like, I don't even...
Why would you try to push over a tree? Hey,
There's
Chris.
no way a tree is blocking all the sunlight. It's
Hey,
one
Chris,
tree.
We're
and it's
in
already
the woods.
leaning.
Let's go downstairs and try and push a fucking tree over.
Well, yeah, no. If we have to kill dead
Newsflash,
people,
it's not gonna happen, and we're adults.
If we have to kill
things,
dead people,
things
we're
are
gonna
gonna
go
get
do that.
interesting.
All right.
They're gonna get interesting. I promise.
God damn it.
I pulled back with a gasp when I heard the soft cracking sound. Cracking sound. The cracking sound grew louder until it was a rumble, then a roar!
Roar.
It sounded as if the ground were ripping apart. The old tree fell quickly. It didn't have far to fall,
finally.
but it hit with a thundering crash that seemed to shake the ground. I grabbed Josh and we both stood in amazement and disbelief as bright sunlight poured into the amphitheater. The cries went up instantly. Horrified cries. Angry cries.
The circle
Frantic
of cries.
cries.
The circle of cries.
The circle of cries. The cries became howls. Howls of pain, of agony.
The circle of agony.
The people in the amphitheater, the living dead caught in the golden light, began scrambling over one another.
Beautiful.
Screeching, pulling, climbing, pushing, trying to claw their way
Oh
to
my
the shade.
God.
But it was too late.
Oh, yeah.
Their skin began to drop off their bones.
Oh, shit.
And as I stared open-mouthed, they crumbled to powder and dissolved to the ground, their clothes disintegrating along with them.
Damn.
The painful cries continued to ring out as the bodies fell apart. The skin melted away, and the dry bones collapsed.
Ugh.
I saw that bitch Karen Somerset staggering across the floor. I saw her hair fall to the ground in a heap,
Jesus.
revealing the
deserved it.
dark skull underneath.
Damn.
Oh, a dark skull, not like a white one, like a normal one.
No,
Like a
it's
black
dark.
skull, bitch.
That bitch cast a
There was
glance up
something
at
already
me,
wrong with
a
her before she
longing look,
died.
a look of regret.
Ah.
Ooh. Your next line's interesting.
A little bit. And then her eyeballs rolled out of their sockets, and she opened her toothless mouth, and she cried, "Thank you, Amanda, thank you," and collapsed.
What?
Josh
Sorry,
and,
I was such a bitch.
Josh and I covered our ears to shut out the ghastly cries. We both looked away, unable to keep watching the entire town fall in agony and crumble to powder, destroyed by the sun, clear, warm sun.
So wait, none of them have ever been out in the sun before?
It was always cloudy
It was
before.
always cloudy. It's dark falls.
So it's like the Twilight vampire. As long as it's cloudy, no one can tell.
Yeah, they never.
So this is like the first day of sunshine they've ever had?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they
Well,
never
they-
went
they've only-
outside when it was sunny.
And they've only been there like a day and a half.
Okay.
There was
Okay.
that. No, they've been there for like weeks. They've been playing baseball with these fuckers.
Anyway, when we looked back, they had all disappeared. Mom and Dad were standing right where they had been, tied back to back, their expressions a mixture of horror and disbelief. "Mom! Dad!" I cried. I'll never forget their smiles as Josh and I ran forward to free them, and they never hit us again. It didn't take our parents long to get us packed up and to arrange for the movers to take us back to our old neighborhood and our old house. I guess it's lucky after all that we couldn't sell the old place, Dad said as we eagerly piled into the car to leave. Dad backed down the driveway and started to roar away. "Stop!" I cried suddenly. I'm not sure why, but I had a sudden, powerful urge to take one last look at the old house. As both my parents called out to me in
Petey's there,
confusion,
isn't he?
I pushed open the door and
Fucking
jogged
Petey's gonna
back
come
to the
back.
driveway.
Standing in the middle of the yard, I stared up at the house, silent, empty, still, covered in thick layers of blue-gray shadows. I found myself gazing up at the old house as if I were hypnotized. I don't know how long I stood there. The crunch of tires on the gravel driveway snapped me out of my spell. Startled, I turned to see a
parents are
red
about to
station
leave.
wagon parked in the driveway. Two boys about Josh's age jumped out of the back. Their parents followed. Staring up at the house, they didn't seem to notice me. "Here we are, kids," the mother said, smiling at them. "Our new house." "It doesn't look new, it looks old," one of the boys said, and then his brother's eyes widened as he noticed me. "Who are you?" he demanded. The other members of his family turned to stare at me. "Oh, His question caught me by surprise. I could hear my dad honking his horn angrily, impatiently down the street. I used to live in your house," I found myself. I didn't look back. I slammed the car door behind me, and we sped away.
Thus ends.
Thus
Thus ends the first book in the Goosebumps series, Welcome to Dead House by R.L. Stine.
Literary genius.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Um,
Didn't get interesting till 90 pages in.
and also, how terrible is Amanda with the fact that she's just like, yeah, no, like, you guys are about to get into like a whole bunch of shit, but I'm just not gonna say anything.
Have fun dying.
Because that's totally the guy that sold us this house before,
Peace
even though I
out.
Yeah.
watched him melt
Seriously.
as a person. Yeah, no, she's terrible. So that was that.
She's really lucky that they were able to push a fucking tree over. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, so bad.
Well, all I can say is I super hope that the rest of the Goosebumps books are better than Welcome to Dead House.
Yeah.